Let's talk about something foundational, being true to yourself. Too often, we think we need to be someone else or fit into some mold in order to make someone else happy. But here's the truth: the more authentic you are, the more you stand out. The more you're real, the more you become someone he wants to be with. When you're yourself, not only do you bring your true beauty, but you also bring strength, confidence, and a certain energy that says you don't need to pretend. And believe me, that's powerful. See, confidence isn't about acting like you have it all together. It's not about pretending everything's perfect, because none of us are perfect. Confidence is about being okay with who you are, flaws and all. It's about being comfortable with your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, your quirks. And when you're confident in who you are, you stop looking outside for validation. You look inside, and that's when you shine the brightest. That's when you draw people in. That's when he sees you, not the idea of you. And let's be real, that's what anyone wants. Someone who's real, someone who can just be themselves without trying to change for anyone else. Now, I know that's easier said than done. We all have those moments of doubt. We all wonder if we're enough, if we measure up. But here's the key: that self-doubt you feel, that voice that whispers you're not good enough, it's not real. It's just a fear trying to hold you back. The truth is, you are more than enough. You don't need to change who you are to be loved. You are already deserving of love just as you are. It's not about being perfect. It's about being you, flawed, unique, complicated, and beautiful in your own way. And when you embrace that, he'll see it. He'll notice the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you interact with the world around you. He'll see someone who's grounded, someone who is not afraid to stand in their truth. And that, my friend, is magnetic. When you bring your true self into the relationship, you set the stage for something real, something deeper. You stop playing games. You stop pretending to be what you think he wants you to be. And that's key, because in the end, no one can love you the way you deserve unless you let them see the real you. If you hide behind walls or wear a mask, no matter how much he cares, he can never fully connect with the person you're pretending to be. It's only when you take that mask off that you allow him to love you for who you are. And when you do that, that's when the magic happens. That's when he starts to realize how lucky he is to be with someone so genuine. It's important to understand that this authenticity isn't just about showing the good parts of yourself. It's about being open with your struggles too. It's about saying, hey, I'm not perfect. I've got flaws. I've been through some tough stuff, but I'm here and I'm still standing. It's about being vulnerable and showing that you trust him enough to let him in. That vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's strength. And that strength will only draw him closer to you, because it takes courage to be real, to show the parts of yourself that are still healing or the parts that make you feel insecure. But when you're brave enough to do that, it creates a space for him to feel like he can do the same. And that's where real connection starts. Now, when you embrace this authenticity, you stop feeling the pressure to be something you're not. You stop trying to keep up with someone else's version of success or beauty or even how a relationship should look. You can finally live your truth. And when you live your truth, something powerful happens. You start attracting people who are aligned with that. You start attracting those who appreciate you, not the version of you that you're trying to portray. When you live authentically, you naturally start to build a life that reflects who you really are. And that's not just attractive to him, it's inspiring. You become someone who isn't afraid to walk through life confidently, not needing approval from anyone else. That's what makes someone feel lucky to have you in their life. But here's the thing: being authentic isn't always easy. Sometimes it's going to feel scary to let your guard down. Sometimes you might worry about rejection or judgment, but remember, the people who are meant to be in your life will love you for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. And those who aren't ready for the real you, that's okay too. You don't need to fit into anyone else's mold. You need to be the best version of you, and that's the version that will leave him feeling like he's the lucky one. So don't be afraid to embrace who you are, flaws and all. The more you step into your power, the more he will see that he's truly lucky to have someone who is real, who is bold, and who stands confidently in their truth. Trust me, there's nothing more attractive than a person who knows their worth. You know, one of the most powerful ways to make a man feel lucky to have you in his life is by supporting his dreams and aspirations. I'm talking about really being there for him, not just in the easy moments, but in the hard ones too. A lot of people think relationships are just about the good times, the shared laughter, the cozy moments on the couch. But the truth is, it's when you show up for him in the quiet moments, when no one else is watching, that you really show what you're made of. When you take an active interest in his dreams, his goals, and what drives him, that's when you build a foundation that lasts. Now, it's not just about saying, I support you and leaving it at that. It's about really showing up. It's about asking him about his ambitions, even when life gets busy. It's about creating space in your relationship where he feels safe to share his fears and challenges without judgment. You see, every person has dreams. We all want to feel like we're doing something meaningful with our lives, like we're making progress towards something bigger than ourselves. And when you're a partner who is genuinely interested in what excites him, it makes him feel seen. It makes him feel heard. It makes him feel understood in a way that no one else can. Support isn't always about solving his problems or fixing things for him. It's about being a sounding board when he's unsure of what to do next. It's about listening without trying to steer the conversation toward your own issues. And you don't have to always have the answers. You just need to be there, present, and supportive, offering him your trust and faith in his ability to figure it out. Men often carry a lot on their shoulders, and knowing that someone believes in them can be the difference between feeling overwhelmed and finding the strength to keep pushing forward. When you offer that kind of support, he's going to feel incredibly fortunate to have someone who not only cares, but also believes in his potential. But this doesn't mean you disappear into the background and let his goals overshadow everything else in your life. No, you also have to make sure you're pursuing your own dreams. There's a balance here. When he sees that you are equally committed to your own personal growth, he'll respect you more. There's something powerful about a person who's independent and driven, who isn't waiting around for someone else to make them happy. It sets the stage for a partnership based on mutual respect, where both of you are working towards something meaningful, not just as individuals, but as a team. Think about it. There's something special that happens when a man realizes that you don't just love him for who he is right now, but you love him enough to be excited about the person he's becoming. When you push him to be better, when you challenge him in a loving way, that shows him you care about his future as much as you care about the present. And that level of care, that's not something he's going to take for granted. He's going to feel lucky to have someone who sees him not just for who he is today, but for who he could become tomorrow. But this support doesn't come with conditions. It's not about waiting for him to be successful before you show him love. It's about being there through the highs and lows, through the victories and the setbacks. Because life isn't always a straight path to success. There will be bumps in the road, failures, and moments when he feels like giving up. And that's when your support matters the most. The kind of support that says, I'm here no matter what happens. I believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. And here's the thing, when you show up for him in those tough moments, when you offer him your encouragement and understanding, you're not just supporting his dreams. You're building trust. You're saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for the long haul, for better or for worse. That trust forms a bond that is unbreakable. It's the kind of trust that makes him feel like he's got someone in his corner who will stand by him when the world feels uncertain. And that, my friends, is rare. It's something precious that he's not going to take lightly. And don't think that showing support means you have to lose yourself in the process. No, you're a partner, not a fixer. His dreams don't need to be your dreams, but the respect and encouragement you offer should be unwavering. And when you both feel empowered to chase your dreams, the relationship grows in a way that brings you closer. It's not about being dependent on each other, but about being interdependent, working together, supporting each other, and celebrating each other's growth. So remember this, when you make his dreams a priority, when you stand by him through the hard times and the good, you make him feel like the luckiest man in the world. You show him that no matter what happens, you're going to be there cheering him on just as he should be for you. And that kind of support, that unwavering belief in him, is the kind of love that makes him feel truly fortunate to have you by his side. Appreciation is a powerful thing. When you take the time to truly acknowledge someone's efforts, their qualities, and the little things they do, it creates an atmosphere of gratitude and respect. And that's exactly how you make him feel lucky to have you in his life, by showing appreciation. I'm not just talking about the big gestures either. I'm talking about the little things. It's the simple thank you after he's done something thoughtful, or the way you acknowledge his presence when he enters the room. It's the genuine compliments, the recognition of his strengths, and the appreciation for everything he brings to the relationship. It might sound small, but the truth is, we all want to feel like what we do matters, that we're valued. And when you express your gratitude, you're reminding him that he's not just another face in the crowd. You're showing him that you notice him, that you appreciate who he is and what he does. And when he feels valued, he feels lucky. He feels like he's with someone who truly sees him, not just for his accomplishments, but for who he is as a person. But here's the thing. Appreciation isn't just about saying thank you after something nice has been done. It's about noticing the effort behind the action. It's not just about thanking him for the grand gestures or the things that stand out. It's about recognizing the quiet, everyday things he does that make life easier, that make your relationships work. Maybe he's the one who always makes sure you're safe. Or maybe he's the one who knows exactly how you like your coffee. Those little things matter. And when you show that you see them, it creates an emotional connection that strengthens the bond between the two of you. What happens when you take the time to show appreciation is that you're sending a message that says, I value you for exactly who you are. You're not just appreciating him for the person he's trying to be or the things he's done for you. You're appreciating him for everything that makes him him. And when someone feels like they're truly seen for all their complexities, both the good and the challenging, they feel more secure in the relationship. They feel lucky to be with someone who doesn't take them for granted. Now, appreciation also goes beyond words. It's in the actions that follow. Words are powerful, no doubt, but actions speak louder. When you show appreciation through your actions, whether it's through small, thoughtful gestures or being there for him when he needs it most, you reinforce what your words are saying. Maybe it's making his favorite meal after a long day, or giving him a genuine hug when he needs comfort. Maybe it's stepping back and giving him the space to breathe when he's stressed without him even having to ask. These acts of kindness, of showing appreciation through action, go a long way in deepening the connection between you two. Think about it. How many times have you felt more connected to someone after they did something thoughtful, even if it was just a small gesture? That's what appreciation does. It deepens the emotional bond and makes you feel more valued. And when he feels appreciated, he begins to see the relationship as something that's nourishing, something that adds value to his life. That's when he starts to realize how lucky he is to have someone who genuinely cares about him, someone who doesn't just take, but also gives. But here's the flip side. It's not just about showing appreciation when he does things for you. It's also about appreciating who he is, even when things aren't perfect. We all have our flaws, our moments of weakness, but when you can see past those and still offer appreciation, it sends a message of unconditional love. It's easy to show appreciation when everything's going well, but when he's struggling, when he's feeling down, that's when he needs your appreciation the most. Let him know that you see his effort, even when he doesn't feel like he's succeeding. Let him know that who he is in all his rawness is enough. Because when you show that kind of unconditional support, when you appreciate him, even when he's struggling, it shows that your love isn't based on conditions or circumstances. It's based on respect and true connection. You know, sometimes we get caught up in the routine of life and we forget to show appreciation because we think it's implied. We assume that the other person knows how much we care, how much we value them. But let me tell you something. People need to hear it. They need to feel it. They need to know without a doubt that their efforts are seen and appreciated. And when you make it a habit to show that appreciation regularly, whether through words, actions, or both, it strengthens the foundation of your relationship. Appreciation doesn't just make him feel lucky to have you, it creates a deeper sense of mutual respect, trust, and admiration. It creates a relationship where both of you feel seen and valued. And when that happens, there's no question he will feel incredibly fortunate to be with someone who doesn't take him for granted, but instead honors and cherishes who he is every single day. One of the most powerful ways to make him feel lucky to have you in his life is by creating meaningful connections. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day routine, to let the hustle and bustle of life take over and forget the importance of truly connecting with one another. But let me tell you, when you take the time to build those deep emotional and intellectual bonds, you're building something lasting, something that goes far beyond surface level attraction. A relationship that's rooted in genuine connection is a relationship that can withstand anything life throws at it. When I say meaningful connections, I'm talking about more than just sharing the same interests or spending time together in the same physical space. It's about diving deeper into each other's worlds, sharing your thoughts, dreams, and vulnerabilities in a way that creates a sense of intimacy. It's about having conversations that go beyond "how was your day?" and actually opening up about what's on your mind, what's weighing on your heart. It's about being able to be your true self with each other without fear of judgment, knowing that the other person is there to listen, understand, and support you. It starts with being present in the moment, truly listening when he talks, and showing him that you care about what's important to him. We all have our own unique stories, our struggles, and our triumphs. And when you take the time to learn about his past, his ambitions, and what makes him tick, you're telling him that he matters to you. You're telling him that who he is, not just what he does, is what you value. And when you show that kind of genuine interest, you're creating a connection that goes beyond the surface. But it's not just about talking about the deep stuff all the time. Meaningful connections are also built on shared experiences, on creating memories together that bond you in ways words can't. It's about finding joy in the simple moments, the laughter you share during a quiet evening, the way you both enjoy the little things together. These are the moments that build the foundation of a relationship that feels solid, that feels real. When you share those experiences, whether they're big adventures or small, everyday joys, you're weaving a tapestry of memories that create a unique connection between the two of you. Now, let's talk about vulnerability because that's a huge part of building meaningful connections. It's easy to show up in the good times, to share the highlights of your day or your life, but what about when things aren't going so well? What about when you feel unsure, when you're struggling with something, or when you've had a bad day? That's when the real connection happens. When you're brave enough to open up, to share your insecurities, your fears, and your doubts, it creates a space for him to do the same. He says, I trust you. I trust you enough to be real, to show you the parts of me that aren't polished or perfect. And that vulnerability, that's where the real strength in a relationship lies. When you let down your guard, when you allow him to see the true you, it opens up a space for deeper understanding. It allows him to connect with you on a level that goes beyond what's on the surface. It's in those moments of honesty, of sharing your truth, that you form a bond that's unshakable. You're not just two people going through the motions. You're two people who see each other for exactly who you are, who appreciate each other for all your complexities. And when you can connect on that level, when you're not afraid to be your authentic self, that's when the relationship truly grows. But meaningful connections aren't just about emotional intimacy, they're also about intellectual intimacy. It's about having conversations that challenge each other, that make both of you think, grow, and learn. Whether it's discussing a book you're both reading, debating a current event, or sharing your perspectives on life, having those deep, thought provoking conversations allows you to connect on a mental level. It shows that you value his mind, that you're not just interested in what he looks like or what he can do for you, but in who he is as a person. When you can talk about the things that matter to you both, when you can share your opinions and ideas, it creates a sense of partnership and mutual respect that makes both of you feel truly valued. Creating meaningful connections also means being there when it counts. It means being present, not just in the moments when it's easy, but in the moments when he needs you the most. When he's struggling, when he's going through a tough time, that's when your connection will be tested. And if you've built a strong foundation of trust, honesty, and vulnerability, you'll be able to navigate those challenges together. You'll both feel supported and understood, and that's what will make him feel like he's truly lucky to have you in his life. So, how do you build those connections? You start by being intentional. You make the choice to show up for him, to listen without distractions, to engage in conversations that matter. You create space for those deep, meaningful moments, and you make it a priority to nurture the bond between you two. And when you do that, when you make the effort to truly connect, you're not just creating a relationship that feels good in the moment, you're building something that lasts. Because the truth is, when he feels emotionally connected to you, when he feels like you understand him on a deeper level, he's going to realize just how lucky he is to have you in his life. And that kind of connection is irreplaceable. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked, but is absolutely crucial: trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. Without it, everything else starts to crumble. If you want him to feel lucky to have you in his life, you've got to create an environment where trust can thrive. It's easy to say, I trust you, but it's a whole other thing to show it through your actions, your words, and your consistency. And the key to building that trust is showing him that you are reliable, that you've got his back, and that you'll stand by him through thick and thin. Trust is earned, not just given. It's about being consistent, being dependable, and showing up when you say you will. Every time you keep your word, every time you follow through, you're adding another brick to the foundation of trust. And over time, that trust grows stronger, not just because of the big things, but because of the little things too. It's the way you listen when he speaks, the way you give him space when he needs it, and the way you show patience even when it's hard. It's in the way you don't jump to conclusions or make assumptions. Trust is built on the idea that you believe in each other. and that you can rely on each other. When you create that sense of trust, he'll start to feel safe with you. He'll start to know that he can be his true self around you without fear of judgment or betrayal. And when someone feels safe, that's when they open up. That's when they let their guard down and let you see them for who they really are. And that's where deep connection happens. He'll feel like he can share his dreams, his fears, his struggles, and his triumphs with you, knowing that you'll be there to listen, to support, and to stand beside him. But trust isn't just about being there during the good times. It's about being there during the bad times too. It's about knowing that when life gets tough, you're not going to walk away. You're going to stick it out even when the going gets rough. That's when real trust is tested. When things aren't easy, when there are challenges to face. And when you can stand strong through those moments, when you can weather the storm together, that's when the bond between you two becomes unbreakable. You're showing him that you're not just in this for the fun, the easy moments, but for the long haul. You're in it for the real stuff, the stuff that takes effort and commitment. And that's when he starts to feel lucky to have you by his side. Another key aspect of trust is being honest, even when the truth is hard to say. Trust is about being open, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's about having the courage to share your thoughts, your feelings, and your concerns, even when it's not the easiest thing to do. When you can be honest with him about everything, big or small, you're telling him that you value transparency. You're telling him that you trust him enough to be vulnerable, to let him into your world in a way that's real and unfiltered. And when you do that, he knows he can do the same. He knows that when things are tough, you won't hide from the truth. You won't play games or keep secrets. You'll face it together, honestly and openly. But trust also means giving him the space to be his own person. It means trusting him enough to let him go after his own dreams, to have his own time, and to be his own individual. Trust doesn't mean controlling him, holding on too tightly, or questioning his every move. It means giving him the freedom to be who he is, to grow in his own way, and to follow his own path. And when you trust him in that way, when you show him that you're not threatened by his independence, you create an environment where he can thrive. And when he thrives, the relationship thrives. You're not holding him back. You're encouraging him to be his best self. Trust also requires a level of forgiveness. No one's perfect, and there will be times when mistakes are made. Maybe you'll say something you don't mean, or maybe he'll mess up in a way that hurts you. But in those moments, if you can find it within yourself to forgive, to let go of the hurt, and to rebuild that trust, you're showing him that you're in this for the long term. You're showing him that you believe in second chances, that you believe in the relationship enough to work through the hard stuff. And that's a powerful thing. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, but it does mean moving forward together, stronger and more committed than before. At the end of the day, trust is the glue that holds everything together. It's the thing that makes all the other aspects of the relationship, communication, respect, love, possible. Without trust, there's no real foundation to build on. But when you've got trust, when you've built it through your actions, your honesty, your consistency, and your patience, that's when the relationship becomes unshakable. That's when he starts to realize just how lucky he is to have someone in his life who is reliable, who is supportive, and who is there for him no matter what. And that's the kind of trust that will last a lifetime. Now, let's talk about something that's truly the heart of a thriving relationship. Being a source of support no matter what life throws your way. There's no question about it. To make him feel lucky to have you in his life, you need to be his rock, his safe place. The world can be chaotic, unpredictable, and tough. But when he knows he can rely on you to stand by him, to offer him comfort, encouragement, and strength. That's when he starts to realize just how fortunate he is to have someone who's got his back unconditionally. Being supportive means showing up not just when it's easy, but when it counts the most. It's about being there when he's had a hard day, when he's feeling down, or when life feels like it's throwing a million challenges his way. It's not about trying to fix things every time either. Sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply listen without trying to solve every problem. It's about letting him know that no matter what, you're in his corner. And sometimes offering a listening ear, a kind word, or just your presence can make all the difference in the world. But being supportive also means helping him to be the best version of himself. You're not just there for the tough moments, but you're also there to encourage his growth, his dreams, and his goals. That's where real partnership comes in. When you support his ambitions, when you cheer him on in his pursuits, you're showing him that you believe in him. You're reminding him that he's capable, that his dreams matter, and that you're there to help him achieve them. Whether it's celebrating his victories, big or small, or offering a shoulder to lean on when things don't go as planned, you are the constant, the anchor that helps him navigate the highs and lows of life. And here's something crucial: support doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean sacrificing your own needs, your own dreams, or your own well-being for the sake of the relationship. Support is a two-way street. You need to have your own back just as much as you have his. True support means lifting each other up, not dragging each other down. It's about finding a balance where both of you can be your authentic selves, where you're both encouraged to grow and pursue what makes you happy, and where you both feel valued for who you are, not just what you can do for each other. When you support each other's individual growth, you create an environment where both of you can thrive. And when he feels like you're rooting for him, that you're there to help him face life's challenges, he's going to feel incredibly lucky. He's going to appreciate having someone who believes in him, someone who understands that life isn't always perfect, but that with support, anything is possible. That's the kind of partner everyone hopes for. Someone who shows up, who helps you become your best self, and who makes life's tough moments a little easier to handle. But let's be real, being supportive is not always easy. There will be times when it feels like you are putting in a lot of effort, and it may not seem like he's giving back as much as you'd like. It's easy to get frustrated, to feel like your support is going unnoticed, but that's where patience comes in. Real support doesn't have an expiration date. It's about being there day in and day out, even when the going gets tough. And even though it may not always feel like it, trust me, he notices. He notices every time you stand by him, every time you offer him your encouragement, every time you lend him your strength. Those things build over time, and they make an impact that's lasting. Support is also about pushing him when he needs it, but in a loving and caring way. Sometimes we all need a little nudge to get out of our comfort zones, to face the things that scare us, or to take that next step toward our goals. If you want him to feel truly supported, you can't just sit back and wait for things to happen. You have to be willing to challenge him, to inspire him to keep going, even when things seem tough. It's about being the kind of person who encourages him to grow, to step into his potential, and to face life with the kind of confidence that comes from knowing he has someone who believes in him, even when he doubts himself. It's important to remember that support also comes in many forms. It's not just the emotional stuff, though that's certainly a big part of it. Sometimes support looks like stepping up in practical ways, helping him with a task, offering to take something off his plate when he's feeling overwhelmed, or simply being a calming presence when the world feels chaotic. Those acts of kindness and understanding go a long way. And when he knows he can depend on you, that you'll always be there to help him out, he's going to feel lucky to have you. He'll know that he doesn't have to face the world alone. Support also means being honest, even when the truth is hard to hear. It's not always easy to offer constructive criticism or to point out areas where he might need to improve. But when you do it in a loving and supportive way, when you approach it from a place of care, it can help him grow. He'll see that you're not trying to tear him down, but instead you're trying to help him become the best version of himself. And that, my friends, is one of the most valuable things you can offer. Ultimately, being supportive means being there for him in a way that makes him feel secure, loved, and capable of facing anything life throws at him. When you give him that sense of security, when you offer him your unwavering support, it's not just about making him feel lucky. It's about creating a partnership where both of you feel valued, respected, and empowered. And that's a bond that lasts a lifetime.